The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
You know, Lyin, Ted Cruz came today. He couldn't draw 100 people. 100 people. He could, I'm telling you. In fact, it was a big headline today in the New York Post. He couldn't draw 100 people. Now, do you remember? Do you remember? Do you remember during the debate when he started lecturing me on New York values like we're no good? Like we're no good. So, folks, I think you can forget about him. You can forget about him.
Brutal. Lyin Ted, Lyin Ted, Lyin Ted, Lyin Ted. There you go.
He is Lyin Ted. You know, I came up with the idea, but you have to spell it right. It's Lyin apostrophe, Lyin Ted. The Bible held high.
Oh.
He puts it down and then he lies. You know the wonderful thing? He lies like crazy, but most of the time I win the evangelical vote. The evangelicals, the Christians like Donald Trump. I'm a straight shooter. I shoot straight. Like New Yorkers, we shoot straight.
There you have it. Now, here's the question for you. Would you endorse that guy? Would you? If he did, he tweets ugly pictures of Ted Cruz's. Listen, Ted Cruz is my least favorite person in the entire Republican Party. It is because of an idiot like Ted Cruz that the government gets shut down, that we have green eggs and ham, that we have sequesters, that our military don't have the gear that they're supposed to have, that everything is under, the sequester cost us so much. And now they're standing there bitching about their own sequester last night. And, okay, I digress. Let's start at the top, shall we? Last night, what was the theme? Anybody? Just from watching, what was the theme? Make America not safe again, because that was either last night when they had the NRA lobbyist talking about the baby, the scary baby situation, or the night before that, and then the next night was Make America Work Again, but there was absolutely no jobs plan from anybody that spoke last night. So I'm guessing that last night was Make America First Again. First in what? Assholes? In liars? In hypocrisy? Because, listen, they did have an astronaut, the first female commander, got up on the stage and she talked about the space program, which, of course, she loves. And she was saying we need to invest in that again. Never said Donald Trump's name, never endorsed Donald Trump, didn't even acknowledge that she was at the Trump nominating convention because she's a smart girl. She took advantage of the situation, which was 10 million people would be watching. The theme of the night was Make America First Again. She knows who's against the space program. She knows who doesn't fund science and who's against it and doesn't believe in it. She knows. So she got up there and she made the greatest pitch for the space program that you could make and then never said Donald Trump's name. Yay, good for you, honey. Good for you. I love a commander that doesn't invoke the trumpet and uses his stage for trying to get funding for her project. Really smart. And then I was very disappointed in the Costa Rican man. Did you see the Costa Rican man? You didn't see it was Dr. Ralph Alvarado. And he stood on the stage and in Espanol, él dice que voten conmigo, voten con Republicans, voten por Donald Trump. And the audience was like, should we applaud? I don't know what he said. Is that a good thing he said? Did he just declare war upon us from the Latin community? So that kind of fell flat. And then we had a black prosperity preacher, the prosperity gospels, where God wants you to be rich, like Donald Trump. So, give Donald Trump $34,000 for a course on real estate taught to you by a salesman who doesn't sell real estate but sells Donald Trump's courses. Yeah. So, so at the beginning, I was like, make America first in what? I got the astronaut thing, but then it just went downhill. And then the whole night was we had, oh God, there was so many Florida people there. It was very sickening, I must tell you. But now you know what I'm dealing with. Do you know? Now you know. So we had our Attorney General, Pam Bondi. She's the one that Anderson Cooper just literally skewered after the Orlando shooting. Orlando's in Florida, for those of you who can't find it on a map, or Slovenia either. But yeah, she's the one that was against gay marriage and said that gay people didn't really belong in this state. They had no place, whatever. So now all of a sudden Pam Bondi gets read the riot act by Anderson Cooper, and she goes, "No, that's not anything that I'm just enforcing the law, and the law in the state of Florida. The people voted for a constitutional amendment not to allow gays to fully participate in society," and so she's all about that. Anyway, she spoke last night. No one knew who she was, which is a shame because she's so anti-gay that really you would think the conservative firebrands there would have, bothered to learn, her lioness-like fight against the gay. She's your girl if you hate it. And I can't even tell what their platform is. I mean, I know what it is because I have it in front of me. But honest to God, if you were watching this, would you know what their platform was? I mean, some of them believe Black Lives Matter. Others of them say Black Lives Matter is anarchy. You got some that are calling for Hillary to be locked up and jailed, and others for calling for her to be dead and, tried for treason and shot. I mean, so which is it? Are you for the jailing of the Hillary or for the shooting? I mean, pick one, because they're all over. Some are like Black Lives Do Matter, Black Lives Don't Matter, Blue Lives Matter, White Lives Matter. They're all over the place. I can't even tell, what is the... Ted Cruz was like, and they have a holiday in Iran where they actually say, "Death to America." All right, so is your proposal that we have a Death to Iran Day? Would that do it for you? Is that what you would like? Would you like us to lower ourselves to the level of, their right wing, their lunatic fringe? Because most Iranians are not like that. The people aren't. The government is. The people are not. So I can't even follow it anymore. I can't. And then, we can't let these people in because of the ISIS. And then, Hillary will let in all the ISIS people and blah, blah, blah. And the ISIS people are the ones, we're importing the terrorism. But, like the Orlando shooter was an American kid. The guy at Fort Hood was not only American, but he was in the freaking military, and he was a doctor. We're growing this ourselves. I don't know. I can't even really tell. But then, the whole audience turns on. I guess they were in the mood to turn on someone. And they all decide they'll turn on Cruz because Cruz won't endorse Donald Trump because Donald Trump called him a liar over and over and over again, and insulted his wife, called her ugly, said this is what he wakes up to every morning, and tweeted a really, gross picture of Heidi, and, said horrible things about the family. And the father apparently was responsible for the death of JFK. He was part of the assassination plot, according to Trumpland and the mind that is the Trump. And so would you endorse that guy? No. So idiot boy Trump, who has absolutely no strategic ability whatsoever, invites Ted Cruz to give a freaking speech and expected that Ted Cruz would now endorse the Donald. And Ted Cruz said, "No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to endorse him. I'm going to tell you to vote your conscience. And if you're cool with voting your conscience, then you probably can't vote for Hillary. But whatever it is, that's what you do." And da 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 da. So the whole audience boos him first they're screaming, endorse Trump, endorse Trump, endorse Trump. And then, he says, vote your conscience and thank you and good night and God bless you and God bless America and God bless my schmeckle and God bless the pretzel I just ate and I hope in my colon, God bless that. I hope it makes a nice, safe trip through the, entire upper and lower intestinal tract because gastroenterologists don't know really much about it. It's made of the same material as the brain and it's just one of the, unexplored parts of the human anatomy. And so God bless them. Anyway. So now, tonight, there's a problem. A lot of the delegates will not show up tonight for Donald Trump. And we're going to need seat fillers, is what I'm hearing. They don't, because Trump did like he was like, he made a move on the cruise. Like Cruz was up there. And all of a sudden, Trump shows his giant blonde pie hole, and he said, he's like, waving at the audience and like almost encroaching and rushing the stage to like tackle a Cruz. And but he doesn't, of course, because he's also a coward. Stands behind his children. Oh, and this is another thing. The children are doing everything. You realize this? The children who were raised by nannies, hired help. And I know this because we had the Trump family assistant on last night. Where did I put her? She was amazing. I got to say, oh, here she is. Her name's Lyin Patton. We had the Trump family assistant on last night. I don't think anybody knew what to do about her. This is what I'm saying. The message is so convoluted, you don't even know what they're for and what they're against. I can't tell, but this was Lyin Patton's speech. She is the senior assistant to the Trump family.
We all watched, horrified and helpless, as a radical Islamic terrorist targeted members of the LGBTQ community in Orlando. We've seen discord in our urban communities sparked by the senseless deaths of young black men in Baton Rouge, in Minnesota, and far too many places around this country. We watched in horror as our nation's finest were gunned down in Dallas and Baton Rouge as they sought to protect the very people protesting them. But in order to heal as a nation, we must stop viewing these incidents as attacks on the LGBTQ community or attacks on the black community or even attacks on the law enforcement community. They are attacks on America. They are attacks on our values. They are attacks on the very foundation of civil society. Sadly, though, there's not one person in this room who can deny that, historically, black lives have mattered less.
Wow.
My life mattered less. And whether we like it or not, there are people out there who still believe this to be true. But tonight, as a minority myself, I personally pledge to you that Donald Trump knows that your life matters. He knows that my life matters. He knows that LGBTQ lives matter. He knows that veterans' lives matter. He knows that blue lives matter.
Okay there. So what is their platform? Do Black Lives Matter less? Do Blue Lives Matter more? She tells this audience of mouth breathers who have gathered there that sadly her life matters less, and she knows that, and you know that, right, people? And they're like, huh? Who put her up there? Who is this woman? Who? She's black. What is she doing? There's 18 black delegates. You know that. In the whole sea of whiteness, there's 18 black people. But it's just, the whole thing is just so off the rails. It makes no sense at all. I can't even figure out what's freaking going on there anymore. But I will say, with all of this, it is boring. Mike Pence. Oh, you know what I have? I have the old cassette tapes from the Mike Pence radio show. I do. I have the old cassette tapes. Oh my God! It's just wow. This whole thing. It's just and last night, I was waiting for Bill Maher. Right, that would be the highlight of this night. And like Bill Maher said, Mike Pence wouldn't shut the fuck up. That's what he said. So they had to do a little promo saying, when Mike Pence shuts up, we'll start our show. So now I'm all sleep deprived because he didn't get to start till late. And I had to watch Mike Pence to just make sure that he didn't say anything that was, you know what I mean? Oh, bite me, Pensy boy. You are boring. You are. But tonight, the Donald accepts the nomination for President of the United States of America. This is unfreaking believable. We're here. It's 1984. It's the surreal world. It's Big Brother. Oh my God. 20 after.
I'm Tom from the CoffeeCast podcast on the Progressive Voices channel and tune in. You can catch the CoffeeCast podcast on demand now on the Progressive Voices app and progressivevoices.com.